Hi guys, I am so excited to be doing this video today. It's going to be a tag video called the Day and Night Tag. I originally saw this tag from Amelia47242. I will link her in the description bar. It's not her original tag. I will link that person in the description bar as well. Something really cool about this tag is that instead of like numbered questions, the first letter of each question spells out day and night. So I thought that was really interesting. And as far as tagging goes, I wasn't personally tagged, so I'm giving you free reign. If you watch this video, you're automatically tagged, and I would love to see your responses. I think it's really cool, and let's get started. The first question is, do you read more in the morning or at night? I'm definitely a night reader. I like to read before bed. Like, me and my boyfriend will take a bath and then jump into bed and read and kind of wind down the evening that way. And it's just helps me go to sleep, and I like doing that. And if it's a really, really good book, I'll be reading in bed and then just can't stop, and I'll just read the whole night. That's happened to me far too many times to count. Let's see. Are there any books that changed the way you thought about things? Yes. I can't even count on my hands how many books have changed the way I think about things. Pretty much my whole existence and everything that I think is based on some book that I read somewhere. So I have a lot, so let's get started. I would have to say that my political views and just a lot of the way that I think about the world is influenced by Ayn Rand. This is sorry, this is not really showing up very well. This is Anthem, but I read this and We the Living, and The Fountainhead was what really inspired me to love Ayn Rand. My dad loves Ayn Rand. I know I'm saying her name wrong. It's Ayn Rand, A-Y-N-R-A-N-D, but I like pronouncing it Ann. I'm sorry if that offends you. It's just like people pronouncing NaNoWriMo wrong. Anyways, I love her. She is awesome. I really recommend reading the Anthem if you just want a really quick, like, beginner's course to her philosophy, and which is called Objectivism. And I mean, there's so much more I could say about each of these books I'm going to talk about, so you can request me to do a whole video on just one of these books, but I'm going to brush past them because otherwise this will just be way too long. So that's one. Another book that really influenced me was this Fruits. This is made up of bunch of different street snaps of Japanese fashion, and this is like way back from the 90s. Like, here's a one right here. So it's a Lolita. Just like really, really crazy Japanese fashions that so in Portland we have this really big bookstore called Powell's that takes up like 3 city blocks. It's huge. It's massive. There's like so many stories and flights of stairs going everywhere, and it's the biggest bookstore in Oregon, and I think it's the biggest bookstore in the United States. I really, really, really wouldn't be surprised if that was true. And I think I've heard that before. So anyways, I loved going there with my dad. We would go on the weekends, and you know, I would just spend a lot of time there looking at books, and my dad bought me this one time, and I think I was maybe 12 or 13, and I just fell in love with Japanese fashion and started loving Gothic Lolita, and I went in this huge like goth phase, which didn't help me make friends very much, but I loved the fashion. I would spend hours locked up in my room looking at sites on the internet where they had Japanese fashion. Just loved it. So definitely that changed a lot about me. I still like Japanese fashion to this day, and it's been 10 years. So, and that kind of like got me to like Japan and everything too. So, let's see. Luna by Julie Ann Peters. This is about the main character is a girl, and her brother is, his name is Luke, I believe, and he is a transgender person that transforms into a lady named Luna. And I read this when I was really young, and me and my mom kind of read it and talked about it together, and just, I think it kind of shaped a lot of my views on gender and equality and transgender people, and I'm really super tolerant of all of the spectrum of sexuality and gender, and I also am having my own journeys with that as well, and I think that that book was a catalyst for me to, number one, be accepting of anyone that's going through that, number two, to identify with it and to understand, and number three, to maybe even think that I might be going through that as well. Maybe not, but I don't know. Let's see. Lord of the Flies. This is a really beat up copy, but I really like that book. Had to read it in freshman year, and by the way, I loved all of the readings that I had to do for school, like Crime and Punishment and all of those books. Like, I don't understand people that don't like the books that you have to read for school. Oh well. But I liked the movie, I liked the book Lord of the Flies. That whole question of, are we inherently good or are we inherently evil, that's fascinating to me. I still don't know what I think. This makes me think that we're evil, but then there's also a lot of good. Just, I guess anything with the theme of good and evil is really interesting, and I also really like the character Simon and some of the, like, Jesus Christ references and symbolism and stuff. Interesting. Let's see. This is my copy of The Hobbit by Tolkien, and it's very shiny. I actually haven't read it, but my dad read it to me when I was really young, probably like 7 or 8, and he would read it to me at night before bed, and I just remember, like, he would have, like, different voices for the trolls and the dwarves and for Bilbo and stuff, and now that the movie's coming out and everything, I'm really excited, and I was going to reread it, but I don't think I have enough time. But that's, I mean, I have a ton of things that bond me with my dad, but that's one of them. And we also really shared a love of Lord of the Rings and watching the movies and going to see them in theaters together. So, that is a cool book. I Captured the Castle by Dodie Smith. This is an awesome book. I think I've read it like 3 or 4 times just because it's one of those books for me that is just kind of like the quintessential British girl. And whenever I like see someone and I say, you seem like you just stepped out of a novel, I'm kind of like comparing that person to the main character, and I capture the castle. It's because it's just like, I'm not really explaining this very well. Have you read this book? Do you know what I'm talking about? Anyways, there's a love triangle, and the first beginning part is really, really super memorable. She's in her bathtub, and she's reading a lot, and the bath water gets cold because she is in there for so long. And then, like this, she kind of lives in this old, beaten down castle with her family, and her dad is a writer, and he's kind of kooky and cooped up, and yeah. Anyways, I like that one. You can tell I did not prepare for this. Let's see. This is another awesome Powell's find. Japan Unveiled. This is a really, really cool book. I actually have had this forever. I probably got this when I was 10, and I just read it this year, and I didn't even get all the way through. But it like has really beautiful pictures, and then like lots of huge text. But it's all about understanding Japanese body culture. Whoa, Japan, bodies, culture, hello, yes, this is the book for me. So I learned a lot about a lot of the traditional, like, Buddhism, and how Buddhism and Japanese and Shinto tradition like affects how the Japanese perceive their own bodies. You know, what's sacred, what's like considered like defilement, like the symbolism of a woman's like hair and her face, and geisha, and the body is art, and then there's kind of like their face is a mask that doesn't reveal a lot of emotion, and just the way that they dress, the way that they bathe, the way that there's just so many layers and layers of super interesting cultural stuff that I love that book. I want to read it like and memorize it because that's super fascinating to me. Let's see. You knew this was coming. Daughter of the Blood. This is an Anne Bishop series, the Black Jewels trilogy. Oh, man. I've already talked about this before. I could talk about this forever. I love this book. I love this series. I love Anne Bishop. She's probably my favorite author. I mean, I have so much, like, love for Damon and Janelle and Satan and all of the characters. There's so much fantasy and darkness and love and magic, and it's just so good. You need to read it. I mean, it changed my life. I want to be a writer and everything because of Anne Bishop. This book. Mwah! Another really, really cool series is the Wheel of Time series. So this would be the first one, Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. And this is super beat up. I actually have almost all of the books. There's like 13 or 14 or 15 books in this Wheel of Time series, and I don't think it's even finished yet. What? There's, let's see, and I have like 12. I love Robert Jordan's writing because it is, oh, this is a cool bookmark. It has like how you would read your palm. Yeah. Anyways, I love his writing because he explains magic really, really, like, realistically. Like, I feel like I could apply the same mechanics to, like, my own life and, like, make magic happen with the way that he describes it. It's just, like, it seems so natural, and also there's so many characters, so many interesting names. He makes up his own, like, swear words, and just every culture and, like, different set of people has their own completely different thing. That's something that's inspired my writing as well. Like, each town in my novel and everything, I want to have a different feel and a different culture and something really memorable about them. And the only thing that I would say is bad about this is that I read this with my ex-boyfriend, so it kind of has memories of that, and I read it with my dad too, and whenever I talk about the Wheel of Time series with my dad, we always pronounce things differently, especially like character names and places and like really important stuff, and he'll say it one way and I'll say it a completely different way, and we'll both just be like, what are you talking about? And of course we think we're the ones that are saying it right. So that's kind of a bummer when there's so many like made up words and stuff. But I don't know why this is not more popular than George R.R. Martin's Game of Thrones, like, because this is, I feel, way more detailed even than that series, which is very highly detailed, and I like that too. But anyways, let's see, these are my very prized Little Dorrit by Charles Dickens volumes. These are probably, they don't actually have the date on them, but I would imagine that they are from the very, very early 1900s, like maybe 1902 or so, because I have another book from 1902. This is called The Englishwoman's Love Letters, and it's about the same, quality and wear and yellowing, so I think they're probably from the same era. Anyways, I watched the BBC drama of Little Dorrit and fell in love. I love Matthew McFadden, and I just loved watching those. I could watch those over and over again, and I have. And I cried, and I loved it. Oh my gosh, just the story and everything, and it made me want to read Little Dorrit by Charles Dickens, and I did, and I loved it, even though I'd watched the kind of movie first, and that just made me fall in love with Charles Dickens and his writing, and I went on to read, I don't have it right now, but David Copperfield. I read that recently this year, and Bleak House. I love Bleak House. Also the drama was really, really good. I like Little Dorrit better, but that changed my life because Charles Dickens is another one of my really favorite authors. And finally, I know this part of the tag could be its own video, but this is my last one. Harry Potter, duh. Changed my life. Read it right when it came out. I was like 10, 9 maybe. Bought it, read it, waited for the next one, bought it, read it, waited for the next one for like years and years, and was obsessed with it. I was already a really good reader, but that was one of the most memorable, like, had to read it all the way through in one sitting, like, don't talk to me, even if we're going on a road trip, I'm going to be reading the whole time kind of things in my childhood. So, love the Harry Potter books. Yeah. Alright, we're actually moving on to the next question. YA or not? I struggle with this question because I don't really know where the YA genre like begins and ends. Like, is Harry Potter YA, or is that a children's book? Would Lord of the Flies be YA? Luna is probably YA because it's about teenagers and stuff. And are fantasy books considered YA? I have no idea. This is about like adults, but there's some children in there too. So I guess I'm confused about that. Is it necessarily like YA because it's about teenagers, or blah? How many times can I say YA? Anyways, I would say I like more classics and adult fantasy rather than about teenagers. But I'm willing to expand my horizons. Are there characters that you honestly believe are real? No, because that would be weird. I don't really understand this question, but are there characters I wish were real? Yes, get in my pants right now. Damon Say Diablo, Severus Snape, Harry Potter, the main character Arthur from Little Dorrit. There's so many beautiful men from books that I've read that I would like to come alive and be able to kiss and have a chat with. So, yes. Nobody touches my books, or I don't mind lending my books out. I really don't care if you want to read my books on my shelf. You are more than welcome to. Just pop in and take one. I actually have like swapped this book in particular. This is, like I said before, I have another copy of this, but the front page fell off because I lended it out so many times. And yeah, I've tried giving this to other people to read, but then they just give it back. They haven't read it yet. I think my mom read this. Just a lot of like things I've lent out to people. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Actually, right now I have my entire Wheel of Times series is in paper bags at my boyfriend's sister's husband's house, and he said he was going to read them, and that was like 3 years ago. And every time I go over to his house, I'm like, have you read them yet? And he's like, no. But I mean, that's fine, I'm not reading them. So, and they would just take up way too much room on my shelf anyway, so it's fine. As long as I know that I'm gonna get them back eventually, that's totally cool. Do you ever smell your books? Yeah. This one from 1902 smells the best. This is my oldest book. Yeah, I love the smell of old books. But I don't go around smelling them all the time. That's creepy. Not everyone loves books. Is this positive or negative? I mean, I wouldn't push my likes or dislikes on anyone else, and if you don't like books, that's fine. My boyfriend didn't like books for the longest time because he was kind of forced to read them at an early age, and he feels like he's a slow reader, but lately, this year, in fact, he's started reading again, and he really likes Philip K. Dick books, like he's the writer of Minority Report and Blade Runner and those kind of movies that are popular from made from his books. And so now that he's a reader, I like it, but I still would have continued to like him even if he wasn't a reader. I mean, I'm not going to go so far as to say the world would be a better place if everyone read. I mean, I don't know. I don't think anyone would get anything done if they just read all day. So there's got to be people that like to do other things. I keep my books in the best condition or not. Which are you? I try to keep things nice, like things that I really cared about, like display copies of The Hobbit, and my Harry Potter books are really kept really nice, even though I've had them forever. I just take the floppy jack book things and then just have the hardcover when I'm actually reading it and try to keep it nice. This is obviously completely trashed. I've read this so many times that the spine is all broken. This is another really beat up one. Paperbacks tend to get a lot of wear and tear. That's just how it happens. It's not a big deal for me. If it really is beat up and everything, I'll just buy a new copy. I don't have a problem with it. My dad, on the other hand, is completely the opposite. He will baby his books so much that he like barely even opens it to read it, and I just don't find that very fun. I mean, if you're just like barely opening the book and trying to keep it in pristine condition, I mean, I don't know. But he's had the same books through his whole life, and he's like 40 something now, so I mean, there's good points and bad points to that. And then my boyfriend is the complete opposite of my dad, to where he will just take a book and completely like go like this and then like read it like this and smash it around and like dog-ear the pages and kind of just like smash through things like this and just like flop it around. I don't know. So I'm in between. The next one is, gosh, I have too many books, true or false? False. I don't have enough books. This is my bookshelf right here. It has 6 shelves. Most of them are taken up by Japanese fashion magazines. That's like 2 rows. 1 row right here is my boyfriend's like textbooks. This is more magazines right here. Some paperback books. And hardcover books right here, and then 1 shelf of like big books that don't fit anywhere else. And that's it. That's all the books I have. I basically just showed you about half of the books I own, which is really terrible. Sorry, I'm uncomfortable. I mean, I wish I owned more books, because then I would probably read them but I get a lot of books from the library and don't spend a ton of money on books. So a lot of the 90% of the books that I've read I don't own. So yeah. Have you ever spilled or stained your books before? Yeah, unfortunately, I remember very clearly I got chocolate on one of my Harry Potter books, and it was very sad. Toned or untoned while reading? Do you work out while reading? No, I don't work out at all. And if I did work out, I would probably not be reading a book. I would probably be listening to music. So anyways, let's see how long this is today. This is another 30-minute video. I'm just going crazy. So the last thing I want to talk about today is about Diet December. I am going to nip that in the bud before it gets any further along. I am sorry to say that I'm not going to be doing that anymore. Because it was putting a lot of pressure on me. I mean, for November, for Nano, I just had 2 goals every day. Vlog and write. And that was doable. And this Diet December has kind of gotten out of hand to where I have a to-do list that's like this long every day, and I have like 10 things that I need to feel guilty for if I don't accomplish. So, I thought about it today, and I was like, what would happen if I just didn't do that anymore? And then I kind of felt this relief wash over me. So, I am sorry if that disappoints you. I'm also sorry if you don't care at all. But anyways, I'm probably going to be deleting those videos, and just going to be putting up tag videos and stuff for December. Hopefully you're going to get some revision done anyway, despite not having a determined goal for it. But anyways, so that's the deal. Just wanted to announce it instead of like just being sneaky and weird about it, because I was already going to kind of be disappointing myself. So there you go. I will talk to you guys later, and hope you have an awesome night. Alright, bye.